Girl, stop playing.
Welcome to the Girl Stop Playing podcast, where we encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. Y'all already know that I truly, truly believe that you can have it all. You can make the money and you can have the honey if you are willing to work for it. I love being able to introduce you to women who are doing the damn thing, women who are working for it. So without further ado, let's welcome Juawana Colbert to the studio. Hey, Juawana.
Hey, how are you?
I am well. So listen, we ain't put no respect on your name just yet. So let me go ahead and give you a proper introduction. Juawana Colbert is a top luxury real estate agent in Tampa, Florida. She's the office manager at Allure Realty, and she is one of the stars of Selling Tampa, a hit show on Netflix. So welcome to the show, Juawana.
Thank you. And I want to add one more thing because
Add it, girl.
And the honey. I'm also a part owner of a business in North Carolina called the Sip Room. It's a wine and champagne room.
Okay. Look, thank you. We're going to talk about that because I'm going to add that to my notes. I did not know about this Sip Room. All right. So let's get into it. I think that you've definitely like been in the game for a minute. I'm sure that, locally you're a local legend in what you do, but the world is just now getting an introduction to you through this show, Selling Tampa. How has that experience been for you? And how has that introduction to the world been, from your side of things?
Thank you for that. I think it's been phenomenal, honestly. I think there's good and bad with everything. Obviously, you have people who want to call and waste your time because they just want to talk to you. And I'm flattered by it, but I'm about my business. So in general, though, everything has been pretty positive. We've been getting some more clients, more exposure with things such as yourself doing things like this, and kind of just really being an inspiration to minority women. And so it's been good.
And I love, like, we are heavy on the Black girl magic up in here, all the blackety black, everything. And the fact that you all had like a cast full of women of color on such a major platform as Netflix, doing something other than being a wife, I think is just like phenomenal. And like you said, being the inspiration to not just other women, but I always think about like my nieces, like my nieces are 19 and 20, grew up on like The Flavor of Love, Ray J, love that type of, content is what they grew up seeing. And so to see reputable examples of Black women, professional women who are not just on TV, because of the drama, that comes along with reality TV. I love that you all are representing. So thank you for that. Have you gotten that response like from other Black girls that are like, wow, I didn't even know this was possible? Or what has your response been, I guess, from people who, may not have even known that this was a space that they could possibly get into?
Well, it's been just that people love seeing that women of color are able to be professional. We are able to have disagreements without, throwing a glass.
Right.
We're going to have disagreements. And I think with maturity and as you grow, you realize that it's okay. You're not going to agree with everything, but there's a way to handle disagreements. Yes. And I think that we were overall a positive role model for that. And that's really what all our messages say. Thank you for being an inspiration. You've inspired me to get my real estate license. You've inspired us to do this. And so that's really kind of been what has made us super happy about the show.
I think something else that's unique about your show specifically, like I mentioned, the Housewives franchise, the Basketball Wives, all of the wives franchises that are highlighting the fact that somebody else got them, that like their connection to somebody else gave them this platform. What you all are doing, you've obviously made a name for yourself, but something else that is different, unique about your cast is that you all actually work together. You're not just people that they kind of just place together based on this status that you have. So how has that been affected? Like, how has the work environment, or has it been affected by, the cameras being rolling?
I think it definitely has had an effect. And yes, we all did work together before the show. We're all real estate agents. We all work for Allure Realty. We all actually do sell real estate. But I think the show made it a little bit of an interesting dynamic because, as you saw, there was a point of contention with a few different people on the show, and we really have to see each other and get through that. And so I think that's truly where the reality TV comes in at because it's reality, and we work together and we do have issues.
So that is like, not only do you have just the typical things that women deal with, the typical things that women working together deal with, the things that women working together under a magnifying glass of reality TV. I can imagine like the tough conversations that had to be had with yourself and then with other people. What have you learned in that respect from like the friendships that you either had pre or, that you may have developed along the way? What have you learned just that you could possibly share for people who might find themselves having issues or dealing with things, interwork issues or just in their friendships?
I think those are a little bit two different conversations because with your friend, you're probably going to address things a little bit different. You may be a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more understanding. You may feel a little bit more open with your friend. Now, in terms of like a business relationship, I think you should still be able to voice your opinion, but at some point you're going to have to be like, okay, we agree to disagree, and you're going to have to still work together unless one of you are leaving, and I'm not leaving. So, so you have to realize that you're going to be okay with working together, even though you may not necessarily be friends. It's okay to not be friends with someone. Everybody is not a good friend for you. Everything is not a good fit. Everything, you're not going to have chemistry with every person, and that's okay.
And it's still possible to have a professional relationship without having a personal relationship for sure.
Yeah.
What in terms of like how the actual process, this is one thing I've always wondered, and I think you're like the third reality star that I've had, and I'm always intrigued by like the process of things, because how do you live your life and really run your business and make money and do all the things with this strain of like filming a show? How did the process affect like your business?
It's a balancing act. So here's the thing. You do get a schedule kind of how long you're going to be filming. So you kind of have an idea. And if you need, like for me personally, I did end up making a little bit less money because I had to engage other agents within our brokerage to help me, because let's say a client wanted to go out while I was filming. I can't take my client out because I'm filming. So then I have to share my commission with someone else who is spending their time with my client. So it was affected, but you kind of have an idea of what the schedule is going to be, so you can kind of work around it. Gotcha. And then for certain clients, like the producers will say, okay, what do you have coming up this week? Like we always had a standing staff meeting, so we knew we were going to be filming that. If we had an event coming up, like I think Sherelle's baby shower was on there, we're like, okay, we're planning a shower, so they're like, oh, we're going to film that. So it's almost like they tell you a little bit of what you're going to film, but then you kind of inform them of what you have coming up, and then they work around.
Got you. So overall, would you say it did more harm or it was more help to your business?
I'm still figuring it out.
Like, we'll see. The jury's still out. Okay.
The jury's still out. But as of right now, I would say more good for my business. Now, there are there's trolls. People say mean things. People are on social media saying all types of things, but we knew that.
So listen, mental health is a big conversation, a reoccurring conversation, as it should be, because it's something that we deal with on a daily basis, right? Mental wellness. How, and I'm truly asking, how do you deal with, because I mean, people say, well, just ignore it. Like, people are just rude or yada, yada, yada. And you can have that like in your head. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm above this, yada, yada, yada. But then you see something that triggers you.
Yeah.
What is the next step after you're triggered? Like, how do you not let this stuff, because I mean, you know yourself and you know who you are and your intention, all of those things, but you're human. You have feelings. How do you deal with it? Because people are just mean and nasty.
Honestly, it depends on the day. One day I may be like, I let it roll off my back. Like you said, I know it comes, you can't please everybody. But then If I'm in the mood to engage, I'm gonna engage. So they say something crazy, I'm gonna say something. And I only can speak for me. I still try to be kind of respectful or
You said kind of respectful.
yeah, with my clap back, because I still am a professional. You know, I still want people to be like, oh, you know, she's still a professional, good person. But I still say remarks depending on how
you get your lick in.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get your lick in. I ain't mad at you because listen, I ain't on nobody's TV yet, but just having followers on Instagram, and it's like
people are the worst.
You would not. I mean, under no circumstances would you say these things out of your mouth out loud in real life.
No,
it's crazy. It's insanity.
And some of the stuff don't even be making sense. That's when I really know I shouldn't respond because I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, I don't.
They sometimes make you want to respond even more. It's like I really got to tell you. But yes, okay. I feel you. Like I try to take the high road, but sometimes you can get it. Have you dealt with, like, when you say, okay, the trolls is one thing, another part of it though, I'm assuming is like, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not, have you dealt with people in your life feeling like you've been acting funny? Has that been a conversation or no?
I've been fortunate enough that people do not feel like I'm acting funny. What I get the most complaints about people who are closer to me or who I care about is that I don't have the time for them. And I get it because sometimes I don't have time. And that, I think that's probably the only thing that I have experienced is the time. Not that I'm acting or funny, it's time.
Got you. So one of the things, I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that shocked me on the show is that you not only have a son, but you also have a what?
Ooh.
Come on, girl, because they ain't gonna believe it if I say it. You gotta say it.
I have a grandson.
Listen, so I knew this, right? I saw it on the show, but I still had to, like, after, doing my research, I was, combing through all the things, looking at your Instagram, and I had to just go Google again to just be sure that I heard what I thought I heard. Cause I'm like, even your last post is like, I got my own glow or something like that. And I'm like, I'm my own vibe. And I'm like, sis is not a grandmother. Like, I just cannot. These new school grandmas, y'all make it look good, okay? Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, having a son, younger, what would you say? Because becoming a mom is like the most challenging thing that I've ever done. It's one of the things that I feel like you could not be prepared for. And I had my son at 35.
Okay.
And I was probably at the most prepared that I could have possibly been. And I still was not prepared. So what was like the overarching, and I know there's probably like hundreds, but what would you say is like an overarching lesson that you learned from having a son younger?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would just say, do the best that you can. You're not going to be perfect all the time. There's no such thing as perfect. Yes, you can be more prepared. Mm-hmm. Yes, be more educated. All of these things you can be, but none of that still prepares you for actuality. And the same in real estate. You go get your real estate license, you take your classes, but it doesn't prepare you for real life and what's going to happen. So until you become actually a parent, you really don't know what it's going to entail. And as long as you wake up doing the best that you can, that's really all you can do.
Woo. Cause baby, some days it'd be like, I'm glad this little boy can't talk.
Yes.
If he could really tell me about myself right now, he probably would. What would you say though so that's the biggest lesson you've learned. What would you say is like the biggest lesson you hope that your son has learned from you, specifically around entrepreneurship and business?
Oh, okay. I think for me, because before I was worked for myself and really lived on what I made myself, I did work for corporate America, and that's okay. I don't like when people down people working for other people, because everybody's goal is not to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
It's not for everyone. So it is okay if you choose to work for someone else, have a stable retirement. My mother retired from the post office, and she has a steady income. So when Koereyelle retired from the military, she has a steady income. She medically retired. So she has some sort of income in medical care that she can depend on. So I think as a entrepreneur, the thing that I would want my son to take into consideration is that it can be done, but you have to know if it's for you. And I think if you are passionate about something, it's really cliche. It doesn't feel like work. Yes, some days it's going to be stressful. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter if you love it and if it's your passion. You're going to have stressful days. You're going to have days where you feel like giving up, but you shouldn't have a lot of those days. And that would be my only thing to him, that it's okay to be an entrepreneur, but it's okay to also not be an entrepreneur.
So it's the same as like college, right? Like college is not for everybody. It seems like, by the time I graduated, the whole technical track was totally gone. Like they were pushing everybody towards college prep, and college is just not for everybody, just like entrepreneurship is not. And so again, one of the reasons why having you all on mainstream television, like globally, as an example of what's possible, especially like you said, because you all come from different backgrounds. Like Koereyelle, has a military background. You have a corporate background. Some of you might share, might have both, might have military and corporate. Some might have, went the college route, but you can go have different paths and still end up at your destination, and that destination being however you define success. So for someone who's tuned in, and who was excited to see this episode because they're like, yo, I am going to get to learn from a real estate pro. For those people who are aspiring to get into the space, what are like 2 or 3 tips, just things you wish somebody would have told you when you got your real estate license and felt like, okay, I got it. Now I'm ready to go. And that wasn't just the end all be all. Like it took some stumbling and fumbling. So what are some of those things you wish somebody would have taught you?
And that's a great question. And you probably, I don't even know if you know this, but Koereyelle and I started Allure Academy.
Got you.
We have something where we felt we wish we would have had when we became agents. And so that's the first thing I would tell people. Check out Allure Academy.
Go there. Okay.
It is an online learning platform where we talk to each other about what we wish we would have knew, what agents should expect once they become an agent. So Allure Academy, check that out. But then secondly, I would also say just really learn from other people. Surround yourself with other people that you can learn from. If you are always the one people are going to, then you need to associate with a different crowd. Not saying that you can't be a resource to people, but you need to be around people that you are learning from. And I make sure that I surround myself with people who are going to enlighten me, expose me, and really give me a different perspective on different things. So I think you should have a hybrid of those types of people. And then particularly in real estate too, I would definitely say learn your contracts, because you have to know those contracts. People think that it's just about being cute and showing a house. It is not about that. It is about way more, and the person that you are helping is looking to you to be knowledgeable. You need to learn your contracts. You need to learn all of the things throughout the process, and not just opening a door and showing the house.
So you brought up a point, and it reminded me of a question that I wanted to ask you around your beauty becoming a burden in this space.
Yeah.
Because for attractive women, especially in any space, but in a space where you are dealing with men, I know that sometimes that's not necessarily, an asset. It can get in the way. Like it can be a distraction. So what has been your experience? Have you ever experienced, where your beauty has become a burden? And then what's your advice for someone who, wants to keep it professional, wants to, to be the real estate professional that they were trained to be, but, people just try to blur those lines sometimes.
I think the first thing I would tell people is to have your process in place. I don't care who it is. I'm not going out with someone without proof of funds, a pre-approval, and an ID. You have to pre-send me that. I'll talk to you on the phone for a little while, but we are not meeting until I have those items, because you need to know that I'm about my business and that I have a process to work with you. So I would say always make sure that you are going by your process. Number one. Secondly, I always pay attention to what I am wearing when I meet with a client, and not just male clients. And I pay attention to when I'm meeting with husbands and wives too, because you do not want to offend the woman either, because that will quickly, a woman will quickly say, I don't want to work with her. So you have to be careful with that as well. But going back to, just working with a man, I think that if you just set your boundaries up front and then make sure you keep it professional, and if there's advances that are made towards you, then, you, depending on the type of advances is how you respond. If someone just says you look nice, it's a thank you. You be polite, and then they're acknowledging that you're a nice looking woman, and that's it. But if it's something about, may I take you to dinner? Oh, you probably should have an answer for that. Or I don't, either I'm in a relationship or I don't date clients. I don't care if you got to make it up. Whatever it is, you have to decide if you're willing to do that or if you're not. I personally would not date a client. Now I would date someone after our transaction is closed at some point, but during the process, I am not crossing the line at all.
Got you. And that just keeps it real clean. It keeps it real black and white, no gray area. And especially in the space that you're in, because it's all about relationships, reputation. And in Tampa, it's not like New York City, right? Tampa is a smaller city where I'm sure, especially in your space, everybody knows everybody. So with that being the case, and with relationships and reputation being so important, what is your advice for just nurturing and maintaining those professional relationships?
I think really, and I struggle with this too. I'm not the best at this because I'm a homebody. I'm okay with being out with people, but I recharge by being alone. So you really can't have a successful business, a real estate business, if you're in the house all the time. So you really have to make a concerted effort to be out there networking, and always make a good impression. When you're working with clients, always think of that client as your introduction to 3 more clients.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you're providing them with great service. You're doing your best, because you really want referral clients. Those are the best clients, because they don't even want to shop around. They already know, because somebody has referred them, that they want to do business with you. So really just massaging and being massaging those relationships. Hey, thank you. Can I take you out for something? Or being really thoughtful. If someone has shared something with you while you're working with them and you decide to give them a closing gift, that gift should reflect something that they have shared with you. Or just being a little bit more thoughtful. And then really your CRM, because you're going to forget to follow up with people, to stay in touch with them. You're going to get busy. So you really need something that's triggering an email, a text, or something for you to stay top of mind. So that is what I would suggest.
Listen, that is so key. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I can't tell. My mom was recently buying a house, and she went through like 3 different agents just until she got one that followed up with her, that followed through. And I kept saying, I can't believe these people are fumbling the bag. Like she's the type of person, she already knows what house, like she's done her research, she's driven by. She just needs you to open up the lockbox, and let her in.
Call me.
Listen, and she literally just bought a house right outside of Tampa. So we should have had this conversation sooner. But I'm sure that those people didn't mean to not follow up, but it just slipped through the cracks. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because we got to have our systems and our processes in place that will save us so much time and help us maintain our professionalism, because there's nothing more unprofessional than fumbling a bag, like not following up, not doing what you said you were going to do. I want you to just tell me about a couple of ways that people can get involved in real estate without being an agent, because I feel like there are endless opportunities and everybody doesn't necessarily want to become a licensed agent. So what are some of the other ways that people can be involved?
And we go over this in Allure Academy too.
I'm on Allure Academy. So Allure Academy is not just for aspiring agents.
No, it's for new agents and it's for aspiring agents. We have 2 different tracks. Okay. So, and one of them is called You Have Your License Now What? And then the other one is You're Thinking About Getting Your Real Estate License. So some of the ways you can work for a builder. So let's say, and I'm just throwing a name out there, a big name. Let's say a Lennar, because it's it's everywhere. Well, in Florida, just a big name home builder. You can go work for them as a new home sales consultant, and you do not have to be licensed. And the reason being is because you are typically because you're salaried and not getting a commission.
So it's like you're going to get a job.
Correct.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So you could work for a new home builder. You could be a transaction coordinator, which means that you're just handling the administrative duties of the process of buying a home. I have a transaction coordinator. And once I basically have taken my client to a house, they say they want it, my transaction coordinator does all of the paperwork to get them to closing. Or if I'm listing a house and they agree for me to list the house, I send all of the paperwork to my transaction coordinator to coordinate and get all of the signatures. So you could do that. You could also work for, you could be a property manager, which means that if someone they own a home or multi-unit complex, you manage that property for them. So you're going to make sure any deposits, or you're going to collect rent. You're going to be the person they contact if something is messed up. You are managing that property for the owner. That's what you're doing. You could be a real estate attorney. I don't know. You may be an attorney, but you can work specifically in real estate. So those are some of the ways and things that you can do without being licensed.
So there's different ways that you can get in where you fit in.
You can be an appraiser.
That's what I was going to say. Appraiser. Okay.
Yes.
That's a wide open space too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
You can be an inspector. You can go inspect the home for a buyer or a seller. Yep.
So you can get in where you fit in, y'all. There are a million ways that you can get it. You just got to choose one. So I can't let you go though without bringing up this sip room. Please give us the tea. You like that? Give us the tea on this sip room.
I'm gonna give you a little champagne and wine.
Come on.
So the sip room is something that my business partner and I are doing in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I used to live in Fayetteville. That's where Fort Bragg is.
Yes.
And we open it's downtown Fayetteville, and it's so cute. So cute. They say, and you can follow thesiproom.com, or excuse me, on Instagram, it's the Sip Room, and our website is thesiproom.com. And it basically wine and champagne retail and tasting room. So you can buy wine and champagne by the glass or by the bottle. You are able to buy retail items. So we sell anything related to wine and champagne in the store. Wine bottle openers, we sell glasses, we sell shirts with wine, anything related to it, it's in the store. Then we also have theme nights where, one night we may play Caribbean music, one night we may play hip hop. But then we also have a private membership room where if you are a member, you're able to have access to that room and enjoy your wine and champagne. But if you want to come in and buy a bottle and leave out, we sell by the bottle as well. And we have an outdoor space as well. We have hookah that we serve outside, and charcuterie. We sell charcuterie.
Say it again, because I can never say it.
Charcuterie. Say it with me. Charcuterie.
It's some extra letters up in there though. I don't know. They be throwing me off. It's an H that I get real confused with. But the siproom.com.
Yes. And on
siproom.com, it's Fayetteville, North Carolina, hanging out there in the military zone, right? Definitely a much needed space though. I feel like the military wives. Mm-hmm. Who's checking for the military wives? So I'm glad that you I'm glad that you created something for them. And just an inspiration for the fact that you have multiple businesses, you are creating partnerships with other Black women, you're creating platforms, products, and you have this Allure Academy that I didn't even know about. So the people definitely have to get in where they fit in. And I'm going to get with you so I can get a link so we can put it in the show description too. Definitely let the people know how they can stay connected with you on social media and where they can find you if they want to inquire about your services.
Oh, I appreciate that. So I have a website, it's JuawanaColbert.com. And then my Instagram is just my name, Juawana Colbert. And I really try to keep that updated. So definitely follow me. I can't wait till this comes out so I can repost it. And that's how you can find me.
I love it. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation, Juawana. I appreciate you for joining us here on Girl Stop Playin'. All right, y'all. You have tuned in to another bomb ass episode with a badass boss lady here on Girl Stop Playin'. Make sure y'all tap in, tune in, like, subscribe, comment, and share this show with a friend. See you next week. Peace out.